Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at the Hobbit, Goblin King and Thorin Oakenshield. Well, this is a pretty special 2-pack because it actually comes in a box and not on a card. Mainly because the Goblin King is so huge. So you can see there we've got Thorin and his little swords, and we've got the Goblin King. He's got his crown, and he's got his little stick at the back there. Moving round, we've got a little window. On the back we can see the prototype figures. We've got a little write-up on the Hobbit, a little write-up on Thorin, and a little write-up on the Goblin King. So Thorin was available on his own on a card, but if you want to get the Goblin King you've got to get the twin pack, so you might as well skip the single card and just get the twin pack. And it's definitely worth doing so because the Goblin King has got to be one of the best figures in the line. So we'll start with Thorin then. Now the first thing to note, he has his Oakenshield. This Oakenshield has a little peg on the back that does not stay onto his arm whatsoever. So when you get it, it's a good idea to leave that elastic band on there. You can't really see it too much, but it does just keep that in place because it is real pain. It will not stay on at all. You can see there he's got a little holster for his dwarf sword, and on the back he's got a little hole for his elven sword, Orcrist. You can see he's got little streaks in his hair, little gold bits. The articulation on this figure is pretty much what we've seen on all the others. You've got some leg movement, but it's a little bit hindered. And as ever, you can't really push the legs forward. You've got to twist them round to do it, and it gets complicated. He doesn't stand particularly well if you start moving his feet about. You need to have him in sort of that pose, and he'll stand okay like that. The arms move about quite a bit. You've got twist at the wrist, and there's an elbow joint there. It's a little bit hindered up at the top. He also comes with this sword. This is his dwarf sword, and again I think this is far too small. I'll just put it in his hand so you can see. These swords on all these figures, they are way too small. I mean, that's not very imposing, is it really? So what I like to do is just put that through there, and it just stays out the way like that. And also with this figure we get the little sheath for Orcrist, and that just slots in at the back there on a little peg. It is, it's got this big gap there for it to allow you to put the sword through. If I just show you the shape of the sword, if that was solid it wouldn't actually go through. You see it coming through the gap there. So that's there just to let you put that in, and it does peg in there. Not particularly tightly, but it does go in. But that's the sword you want to give him really. And again, it's a little bit too small. Looks a bit better than his dwarf sword. And these things, the handles are tiny on them, so they're a little bit fiddly. So that's the better look, I think. So then we have the Goblin King. And he's huge, and he's ugly, and he's pretty good. We just take a look on the top of his head. He has a little hole, and then you've got this little crown. Now it just plugs in at the back, which does mean it falls off quite a bit. He's also pretty heavy. This is solid plastic. There's not, apart from the arms, I think they're hollow, but the rest of this body section here is all solid chunk of plastic. So you do get some decent stuff for your money. Now for his articulation, he's got, what's that, a ball hinge on the arm, a huge ball hinge, and then he's got a ball hinge on his elbow. You can also turn his hands, but when you do, it sort of goes a bit weird. There's a gap there, and on the other side there'll be a gap as well. These sections are hollow, but you can go all the way around. If you match it up, it looks pretty good. But when you start doing that, you get a bit of a gap, which is a bit of a shame. Then we've got this weird ball joint on his top half of him, and you can actually turn him all the way around if you so desire. But not only does it turn, you can move it from side to side. You can lean him forward, you can have him looking up. His head doesn't turn, it's all just moulded on, but that's not too bad. So we do have some leg articulation as well. We've got a swivel on each leg, and then we've got a ball hinged knee. The only trouble is, unless you've got the feet flat on the ground, he's not going to stand up very well. Or we can also turn him out a bit like that. It also comes with this pretty mean looking staff. I'm not exactly sure what the animal is, but the paint on it does genuinely look like it's made of bone, so that's pretty nice. And it's got some heads on there. They're not painted or anything, but you can just about see them there. It's got all these little bendy bits on. The horns bend. It's all soft plastic. So this has been Luke with the Goblin King and Thorin Oakenshield from The Hobbit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at The Hobbit, Goblin King and Thorin Oakenbollocks.